Chapter 38, The Angelica Touch by Lindsay J. Sedgwick. What's wrong with you, says Grace. Nothing. But Grace is not appeased. Did something happen between you and Dylan? Of course not. No point telling her, since she'll only tell me it was all my fault, and that I was always going to lose him because I was acting stupid. Besides, it's a blip. I'll forgive him when Mum's sorted. And if it's too late, it's too late. I am not upset. We have a festival to organise. And I wouldn't have time for a boyfriend now anyway. But it's official. Drishog is a treasure chest, full of former journos and PR heads, people who've worked in graphic design, animation, event management. We have it all. Whenever anyone comes up with a problem, the word goes out on the central notice board in Simon's Cafe and on the blog I set up. Within hours, someone has a solution. Turns out our chef only used to do catering for a film company in Finland. They've agreed to come and do a Celtic fly-on-the-wall documentary on the festival if we arrange flights and accommodation, so Chris is on to Aer Lingus for free flights. There are committees, under committees, within committees, and beneath it all the workers, us, for example. Thanks to Denise's mum, our school principal, buying into the festival, every student in every class, without a major exam coming up, has been volunteered for a range of practical and decorative projects. Between us, we will manually transform Drishog into some sort of Donegal Disney, but without the fireworks and cartoon characters. In religion, Ms. Willow is in love. She feels she owes it to the world to pass this good news on, so we're researching love stories from the area. The best will be included in an exhibition in the community centre. I did Guppy's wartime romance with her blessing and ignoring Teddy's more recent 46-year silence. In English, we've been told to write a news piece about an aspect of the festival or research and write up a local story myth character. Use your imagination, says Miss Burke, as if she had any. The best pieces will be printed in the Advertiser and compiled into a special pamphlet, The History of Drishog. Its myths, legends and characters, thanks to a friend of Dylan's uncle who owns a printing press in Letterkenny. He's printing Guppy's booklet too. It all sounds naff, but surprisingly it isn't. We're finding out so much about each other and the area, and it's fascinating. Dylan's piece is on Drishog and Donegal Druids. Apparently his father toyed with Druidic beliefs before he got married. Before he became a vicar. Mr. Squidgy Fingers, Geography, has us drawing a series of accurate maps of the area, illustrating important historic, mythic and geographical sites. They'll be used in the official guide to the area that has been compiled by transition year students. The various language classes will translate into Irish, German and French. In art, we're designing a Life of Granuela mural to cover the hoarding around the largest derelict site in town. While Grace and 4 other gifted artists are doing the illustrations for virtually everything of interest. She's already drawn the dolmen and the standing stones. Next up is Jonas. Yep, he's our official storyteller. And the Whales Mount. This is a teensy rock island near the peninsula. You can walk out to it when the tide is low and be completely surrounded by the Atlantic. Yeah, it's an odd name, but better than Wrecker's Rock, because that reminds everyone of a history nobody wants to be proud of anymore. It's been officially renamed for the festival. Finally, in business studies, we're working on the information and marketing strategy, while in computer studies, the 5th years are spreading the word through websites under guidance from Simon, who's coordinating the festival's online presence. First years have the yummy job of cleaning the banks of the river and the memorial. With Chris in charge of fundraising, Mum has persuaded the council to replace the street lighting on the main street in time for the festival, also to fill in all the potholes and donate tubs full of flowers throughout the town. Things that people have moaned about for years. Oh, and to pay for new signage outside the entrances to the town. She is totally back on track, coming up with ideas nobody else had thought of and motivating people. Theo's dad is coordinating the music gigs on the stage in various various venues around town, while Kathy's mum is lending spare office furniture to the new tourist information and ticket office. It's to be located in the empty shop that used to belong to the butcher everyone called the Gruffalo. By the time the weekend comes, I've nearly forgotten our website exists. What Dylan did, gossiping about Mum, was bad. Though I still seriously fancied him, I'd have had to let him alone for ages now so he'd know how mad I was. But with all this LoveFest in the air, Mum won't be able to resist trying again. There'll be tons of volunteers coming in from outside Drishog to help out, so she might even meet some gorgeous man the way you're meant to, accidentally, like in person. Then Dylan and I can kiss and make up. Insert on watching other people in love. Two people cooing at each other across a table occasionally brings out ahs and oohs and how lovelies. These are, of course, fake unless you are also a couple that is cooing and oozing or wanting to be. How do people really feel? Put it away. Get a room. Do you have to do that in front of me while I'm eating? What they really mean. I want to be cooed at. I used to be cooed at. Am I no longer cooable over? What is wrong with me? Don't I deserve to be loved? But without the schmaltziness. Though it might not feel schmaltzy if it were me and Brad Pitt. That is, if it were me and Brad Pitt, I would accept the schmaltziness and wear it proudly. I have to say this for Mum. She picks her time. She could have waited until she was alone with me in the apartment or when we were making up empty rooms, even down at the beach or in the office. But no, Mum saves her meltdown for breakfast in front of strangers and loses it quite spectacularly over 2 Texan lovebirds. Which makes sense. If you want the world to know you are miserable because of you lack a man, which is not how she brought me up. Granted, this particular couple had driven us all to the break of insanity for a full week, walking hip to hip down the stairs, finishing each other's sentences with the same wee laugh. We bit our tongues and smiled as if everything was sweet. They were due to leave on Monday, so we nearly made it. The straw that broke Mum was when they tried to drink their fresh orange juice with their arms looped. According to our chef Only, whose Donegal English has definitely improved since he hooked up with Simon, Mum dumped their toast on the table, snatched the glasses from them and ripped their arms apart. All without a word, but slightly too much passion. Apparently Chris shunted Mum towards the door while apologising to the couple so they wouldn't sue or write rotten reviews on the web when we've all been so patient with them. Mum's pacing the lobby like an antichrist before I arrive down. They have no right to parade their love around as if it's some God-given right, she says. I think everyone in the hotel hears this. She's pretty loud when she wants to be. What am I doing organising a bloody festival for people so delusional that they think they'll just pop into the show and find their perfect man because we threw up a wee marquee? For people who feel entitled to find true love because they're so special, unlike me. I thought she loved the festival. You've just had some bad luck, says Chris. But she shakes him off. Look, I know you mean well, but I mean even you have Kitty hanging on to every word. My mother, the woman who raised me to be thoughtful and considerate and polite, is completely unaware of having insulted Chris. Me, I get a man who wants to cover me with manure. Another who nearly gets me a criminal record. And just to cap it off, the nicest man I meet in decades, I accidentally kill. Nearly kill, says I. Mum becomes aware of me, watching me with them. But I'm not the only one. Several guests, including the Texans, have left their breakfast to see what's happening. And Jonas, yes, Jonas, is in the doorway, arm in arm with his bride-to-be. He looks younger than he does on the school bus. Maybe it's the way he holds his back straight or their linked arms that tell you this is the only way they can stop themselves whooping and skipping and shouting at the moon. We'd like to book a wedding, he says, smiling broadly. A very particular and spectacular themed wedding. Of course you would, said Mum. Fantastic, I chime in with my widest smile because she's not usually rude and she'll hate herself afterwards. Chris is in there with me. We love weddings here. Why don't you show them our different packages, Chris, says I. Right on it, Mouse, says Chris. He knows we need to get them away from Mum and steers them into the lounge. I could get Mum upstairs. I could put her behind the computer screen and distract her with festival stuff. But I don't. I don't even wait for her apology or her I didn't mean it, I was just letting off steam. We're practicing parts for a new stage play excuse. She uses that play way too much. One day Kitty will actually have to write one and we'll gather an audience to see Mum perform. I head out the door without looking back because I need to fix this fast. 3 swans fly past, low and long. To be continued.